I shouldn't have worn high-waisted jeans. Oh well.
Well, you're trying to...
Mercedes. Yeah.
I hate that bitch. And what we're talking about today?
What are we talking about? Hi, my name is Michelle. I race motorcycles, and this is my 2016 FZ07. So my current boyfriend, Connor, special boy. Back when we were 17 and started dating, he had a motorcycle, never ridden on the back before. So he took me for my first ride and I absolutely loved it. And then I begged him to teach me how to actually ride. And then from there, when I turned 18, I bought my first bike. It was a Yamaha R3. And from there, just from social media and networking with people, I was seeing that they were riding on the racetrack and even doing racing like Moto America, and I thought that was really cool. So I talked to some people on how to get involved, and I started doing track days. It's been about, I'd say, 3 to 4 years of track days, and then this is my first year of actually racing, so. And I decided to get a specific bike for track days. So I bought a really clapped out Yamaha R6 that was track ready. It had the track fairings and a bunch of race parts on it, and I rode that for like 2 years on the track. I didn't really like it. It wasn't a good fit. Down the line, I bought this bike for the street. So I was riding this bike every day and was way more comfortable with it. So I decided to get rid of the R6 and track this thing out. It was stock the first year I rode it. And then obviously when I started racing, I had to put all the special race parts on it to make it race legal. Because the suspension is known for being really bad on these. So I got, some people do the whole like R6 front end swap, but that's really expensive, and just starting out, I felt like I didn't need that. So I did the Andriani fork cartridges, which I had to send to a company to get done because you need a bunch of special tools and lathes and stuff to do that. But so they did that. So basically it just makes my internals way better. I also got springs valved for my weight, and they're fully adjustable. And then I did the K-Tech rear shock, and that one's fully adjustable as well. It's not as fancy as Olin's, but it gets the job done. Yeah, so the next big thing that I did, the whole braking system on this bike is also known for being very bad. So I got a Brembo RCS 17 Master. Stock, they come with a 15 piston, so this one has a 17, so quite a bit bigger. And then I did the steel braided lines for more of a consistent feeling brake pressure. And then I have SBS racing sintered pads on there, so they got quite a bit of bite for braking. Actually have never used my rear brake on the track, so I'm almost 100% front. I know you can use the rear brake like mid-corner to help balance out the geometry a little better. I haven't needed to do that yet, so I'm basically just 100% front at this point. And it also depends on riding style. Everyone does it differently, but that's how I learned, so.
God damn!
And then that's pretty much, and then rear sets. Because the stock ones, you kind of feel like you're sitting in a chair, and I wanted something a little bit more aggressive for my feet, so that my body position felt a little better. So I got Driven Racing rear sets. They're okay. They're not my favorite, but they get the job done. That was pretty much it for like my first track days with this bike. I just wanted to see like how it would feel on the track and if there was any potential there. And obviously I loved it because I was instantly dropping lots of time at every track. So I knew I wanted to start racing. So, you know, once I started doing some track days with this thing, I was like, all right, I'm gonna start making it race legal. So you gotta read through the whole rule book and look at the requirements. Also, each bike class is different. So the R1s versus the FZ07s, the requirements can be completely different sometimes. It also depends on what race class you wanna race in. So there's like race classes called Super Sport, and then there's Super Bike. Super Sport, you gotta leave certain things OEM from the factory superbike, you can do everything from engine work to exposed air filters, like complete airbox mods, stuff like that. Push like twice the amount of power from factory. So you gotta like decide what you want to do, and I want to race in both super sport and superbike, so I had to leave some things OEM to be eligible for super sport. But mainly it's just like body work. You can't have headlights, taillights, stuff like that. You always have to have a belly pan, mostly to catch any kind of fluids that might leak. So if my engine blows up, hopefully all of my oil will go in there and not all over the racetrack.
Oh my. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh! Oh shit.
I feel like fucking Squilliam right now.
Oh shit, Squilliam. Damn. Squiring. Goddamn.
With it too is the safety wire, so all fluid containing bolts, all moving parts, you got a safety wire. And that was the biggest pain because you got to pre-drill the bolts because they don't come drilled. And some bikes you can buy them pre-drilled, but they get expensive. And with FZ07s, since they're not like the most popular for racing compared to like an R1 or whatever, there weren't many like pre-drilled bolts I could buy. So it took many hours and swearing, but got it done. Yeah, like some of the bolts were just such tough metal. We used, even with a drill press, we broke like many drill bits. Yeah.
Oh, and then you're like, oh, fuck.
Probably Milwaukee's fine, but anything
Carbide.
whatever, yeah.
Everything else is shit.
Yeah. It's terrible. They're the Pirelli V4 Super Corsas SP, I think. Yeah. And technically you can run them on the street if you want to be street Rossi, but they're mainly made for like a track tire, and with the smaller bikes you can even like race with them, which is what I do because I get a little bit more life out of them than a slick, and if it starts sprinkling or whatever, I have a little bit of tread that'll save me before, you know, the race is over, unless if it's like fully flooded, then you'd switch to maybe more of a rain tire. But so that's why I like these. I'll probably go to slicks eventually, but these have been holding up great for what I've been doing. But back there I got Super Courses on the bottom, Dunlop racing slicks, and then I think those are Dunlop rain tires as well. So internal wise, the biggest thing that I did that I found helpful was I put a slipper clutch in this bike. So from the factory they come with just like a regular clutch, no slipper clutch, and if you downshift really quick and dump the clutch, sometimes you can lock up that rear wheel because it doesn't compensate for like the speed. So the R7s, when they came out, they came with a slipper clutch from factory, and it's the same exact engine. So I was like, I think I could probably put this in here. So it ended up working out really well. Now as a slipper clutch, so I can downshift really fast and the rear wheel won't be all slippy on me. So it helps with, you know, having the bike nice and settled before the turns when I'm kind of coming into it pretty aggressively. So the fairings that I got for this are from S2 Concepts in France. They're really cool. I could have gotten like a full fairing like race kit, and I decided to go with this because it's a little bit cheaper, but it also keeps the look of the stock FZ07 from factory, which I thought was cool. Because when you put the full fairing race body kit on it, you can't really tell if it's an FZ07 anymore, so I wanted people to look at it and be like, oh, I know what that is. So it's full fiberglass, so it shaved a lot of weight. It's not the most aerodynamic, but it looks cool, so. But they're a really good brand. They made that cool belly pan too, so. And then I got a fancy race seat for it as well. It's an R6 tail. Yeah, I guess I will say it does have different gearing. So I have driven racing sprockets on it with a 520 chain conversion, so it's a little bit of a lighter weight chain. And then it's geared down in the front, so it's a 15 tooth front and I believe a 43 rear, so it gets a little bit more torque and pull out of the corners. It limits the top speed a little bit, but the straightaways around here are short enough that it doesn't really affect that, so I got a little bit more torque for accelerating out of corners, which is nice.
That's it? That's the bike?
Yeah, other than like got like protection on it, but that's not really too important.